Alright, so today I'm going to make a video about a video that I made a couple days ago when I was talking about, the difference or the definitions of drop sets, supersets, and circuits. So this one, I feel like I've made a video about this kind of recently, and this one's going to be about supersets, but it doesn't hurt to reiterate things, to kind of reinforce things, and to set reminders about, because I know when it comes to supersets and how to structure them within your workout, it can be confusing, and you can structure them in an incorrect way, which I've done probably too many times for myself and for my clients. So once again, a superset is pretty much 2 exercises back to back with little to no rest in between. And I should also caveat this by saying these tactics could also be used when you're doing circuits as well, whether you're doing circuits or supersets. Which again, circuits are 3 or more exercises back to back. So when you're structuring supersets, you kind of want to think of the muscle groups that you're going to be using. Now this can be complicated, so you want to make sure that when you're structuring these supersets that you know what you're doing, all right? Because you can structure them in a way that's going to be more beneficial, or structure them in a way that's going to be not as beneficial. So one of the things that I like to do, like say we're going to be doing an upper body superset, which means 2 different upper body exercises. You kind of want to, you can go about doing this in a way, if you know about push versus pull, right? Push exercises, a lot of chest press, shoulder press, stuff like that. Or you can think of pulls like curls or rows. So you kind of want to go back and forth between the 2, because as one of your body parts are working, then the other side is going to be resting. So I would not structure chest press and then right after that a shoulder press, because if you know how muscles work, right, your shoulders, even though they're not the dominant muscle in the chest press, they are a supporting muscle in the chest press. And so they're going to be, especially the rotator cuff, they're going to be fatigued while you're doing the chest press. If I'm going to immediately superset that with the shoulder press, then my shoulders are not going to get the same benefit from them if they were to be more rested. So I would not put a chest press and a shoulder press back to back. Now what I would do is I would do a chest press and then do like a bent over row, or any type of row, any type of back row. You could even do, because that's a pull, right? You could even do a chest press and say like a bicep curl. It's a little bit weirder, different, because it's a big muscle versus a smaller muscle, but you can still do something like that, right? So it can get very kind of complicated, but you kind of want to do stuff like that where you're doing opposite or opposite muscle groups. Similar, like if you're gonna do biceps for the first exercise and then triceps for the other exercise, because as your biceps are contracting, your triceps are getting a rest, and then as your triceps are working, your biceps are getting a rest. And so doing exercises like that back to back. Now that's kind of like upper body. Like I said, it can be a lot more complicated. I can give you a lot more examples, but that's generally the idea that you want to have, is thinking of what muscle groups you're working with and what are the secondary muscles, the stabilizing muscles in that exercise, and trying to make sure that they're all getting rested for the second exercise, so you're not overworking this particular muscle group, and you could either hurt yourself or just not get the benefit from that exercise. Now when you're doing supersets with the upper body and a lower body exercise, now this one seems to be a little bit easier, but it can also be tricky as well, because there are a couple things that I've learned the hard way through my experiences. This is kind of more of what I wanted to talk about anyways. Now when I structure those ones, I'll give you an example of what you probably don't want to do, because I did this one before. Now I did this with a client before, shout out to US, where I had him do a superset of bicep curls and then goblet squats. And you might be thinking, okay, when I first structured it, I'm thinking, okay, I'm doing upper body exercise and a lower body exercise, curls and then squats. But the problem is, when you're doing a goblet squat, you're holding the weight up like this. And so yes, not only are your shoulders you're at work, but your biceps are at work, because you have to use your bicep muscles to hold the dumbbell up. And so what happened was, the first set is fine, but when we get to the second superset, for the bicep curls, his biceps are already fatigued, because not only did he do one set of bicep curls, he just spent an entire set, holding up a 40 or 50 pound weight in his hand doing some goblet squats. So now his biceps are super fatigued, so it's like his biceps are getting worked the entire time. Now you can try to do that, but you're not going to get all the same benefits from the bicep curls as you would if you didn't put those 2 together. So I learned the hard way, I need to separate those. Similarly, the same kind of concept is something like doing bent over rows and then doing RDLs. 2 things that I consider with putting those back to back, which I don't want to do again, is your grip, right? You're holding heavy weight, and you're also going to think of your core and your lower back, right? When you're doing a bent over row, especially if you're not doing it supported, you're just, you know, using your body to be in the bent over position, in that hinge position. Your body's in that hinge position for a very long time, so your core can get very fatigued. Then your forearms, your grip is getting tired, and you're trying to do a back row. Then if I do right after that an RDL or a deadlift, once again, now your body's holding probably even heavier weight doing a deadlift, because most people can deadlift more than they can row. And then now you're hinging forward, up and down, still engaging the same muscles. And so that one could be prone to injury. So that's something that you want to watch out for as well. And I've learned that the hard way as well. So these are just kind of tips and tricks that I've learned as I've been training my clients to try to separate these kind of exercises when you're doing supersets with an upper body exercise and a lower body exercise. Those are kind of the main ones. So I would probably do something like a goblet squat, you know, after I do something like maybe a bent over row or something like a shoulder press, where they're completely different, you know, muscle groups that don't have any relations, that are not going to interfere with each other. And one thing I should have said in the beginning is that usually I do the upper body exercises before I do the lower body exercise, because the lower body exercise is very taxing. Even though it's lower body exercise, I consider most lower body exercises to be full body exercises, because most of the time you have to carry the weight with your upper body in some way, shape, or form. And so your upper body is your entire body is gonna be working when you're doing lower body exercises, versus upper bodies is usually at least the core and up. So with that being said, yes, those are my little tips and tricks, trying to make sure, like I said, you're thinking about which muscle groups that are going to be working. Try not to make the same mistakes that I made with my clients, and hope that you can construct them in a better way. Hopefully this was beneficial and not too rambly, but I kind of wanted to kind of reiterate some of the stuff that I like to do, and stuff that I've learned when it comes to doing supersets. Like I said, this can also work with circuits as well. Same concept, just try to make sure that, you know, you're not overworking a specific muscle group over and over again within the same circuit. It'll help, you know, reduce help reduce you getting injured, help reduce injury and stuff like that, and also getting the benefit of the actual exercise. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope this was beneficial, and so till the next time, I will see you guys in the next video.